In today's show, we discuss, should modern societies cap personal wealth?
And now, the TNT Talk Show, daring to go where other podcasts fear to tread.
Hello, I'm Tony Fasula, and I share the stage with my esteemed friend and colleague, Taya Boya. Taya, hello, my friend, once again. I hope you keep it safe and well.
Yeah, what the hell, Tony? What you gonna do, eh? Hello, audience.
Yay!
Listen. Oh, come on. Listen. Stop that. So, I'd like to say hello to someone or someone's in guess where? Here in the UK, not too far from us.
Oh, really?
Yes, Northamptonshire,
No.
the pleasant town of. I'm going to spell it and then I'll pronounce it. This is for our international audience.
Okay.
First, I'm going to spell it, then I'm going to pronounce it.
Okay.
And when I spell it, I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. This is the international audience. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to try to pronounce it on your own. Towcester. Towcester. You know the town, Tony?
I do. And most people would be listening to your words and saying, Towcester or Towchester?
Towchester.
Towchester, yes.
To Worcester, anything like. Actually, unfortunately, it's one of those words where you either know how to pronounce it or you don't. You can't divine its pronunciation from the way it is spelled. So it is actually pronounced, believe it or not, toaster.
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 English language is stupid, man.
English language is nuts. And when you find out for the first time, it's usually people laughing. And going,
Yes.
oh, no, that's not how you pronounce it. He said, how do you pronounce it? Because it's pronounced toaster. Well, why the hell is it pronounced toaster, man?
Don't. I remember quickly, sorry, I'm digressing before we start the
Okay.
show.
Yes,
I remember Americans coming back or coming to the UK and wanting to try a particular sauce, which is over.
I know it already.
And he didn't know how to say it. And he's like, whoa, chat, whoa, Trusto, whoa. And the poor woman said, are you having a stroke? Are you all right? He was trying to pronounce Worcester sauce.
Worcestershire. Doesn't look like Worcestershire. It doesn't look like Worcester at all.
It doesn't, does it? No.
Worcestershire. Worcestershire. Anyway, so Mike, Tyre's question time. Welcome to
Well,
Tyre's
hang on.
question
Who are
time.
these two people in Toaster?
I don't know who they are. Just hello and welcome. Thank you for.
I
I don't know if it's two. I just know we've
Oh, okay.
had hits from Toaster. It's just next door. I just thought I'd say hello.
Okay.
Hello,
Keep listening,
Toaster.
keep liking and subscribing.
you.
We love
Yes.
the audience. So yes. Go on.
The Tyre's question.
Go for it.
You mentioned something like this
Okay.
a few episodes ago. Something was doing your head in, to use a little Northamptonshire phrase, and it was people saying, anyways. Look at this phrase.
That's an American term. They do that, don't they?
Well, they've started doing it. I don't remember them doing it all along. Anyways, it's just
anyways,
something
yeah.
that's just recently just started. It's anyways.
Yeah.
And
With an
it
S on
doing
the
your
end.
head in. I'll tell you what's doing my head in recently. The word do, D-O, do.
Do.
Yes.
Okay.
Why are people inserting do into everything?
Really?
I do want to go home. You just want to go home. That's it. And then in the past tense of it, I did see him yesterday. What? You saw him yesterday? What's the did? What's the do? Why? What does it bring into the party? It's driving me insane. And I'm listening to this thing thinking, what is the, and all of a sudden it's everywhere. And well, someone said, not someone, actually, I'll be honest, AI said, I asked AI, why is this popping up everywhere? And they said, it's probably because we're all online and it's spreading like a mind virus or something. And people are just picking up on it and not realizing that they're using it. But it's so infuriating because it brings absolutely zero to the sentence. You haven't said anything different.
Okay.
If you leave it out, it's the same thing. So
Okay.
why are you putting it in?
Although this is not a topic that we were due to discuss, it's very interesting nonetheless.
No, it's a question. That's my question.
But
Why are we
I know,
using it?
it is interesting, but it is how the language is evolving because and
It's
online is
devolving.
well, that's a separate topic, but certainly it's changing because of online. People converse that way, and you get slang built in, and it quickly spreads, as AI has rightly said. And soon those slangs will be adopted into the language itself. And
I do
that's the
say
shame.
anyways. Good
Anyway,
grief.
enough of the shenanigans. Let's get on with the topic of the show for this week. And the topic we're going to discuss is should modern societies cap personal wealth? Now, Taya, this was your topic. And why did you want us to discuss this particular topic at this time?
I was just listening to Elon Musk,
Ugh,
and he's wanting to start a third party or something, and the fact that they're taking his son and presented his son at the White House standing next to Donald Trump and all this sort of thing. I was just thinking, this is because he's been allowed to amass a lot of wealth. And isn't there a point at which we, the rest of the population, who allow these people to amass such wealth? Don't forget, the French had a revolution, and when they'd had enough, and they said, no, enough is enough, they put their foot down. There's a lot more of us than there are of them. And if we put our foot down and we say, actually, we're not doing this anymore, there's nothing they can do about it. So it does require buy-in. And I thought, why don't we have a cap on personal wealth? Well, so that's the question. I
yeah.
mean, but some certain questions they're very easy to ask, but once you start trying to answer them, you find that it's not that easy.
No. In an
Uh,
ideal world, I suppose it would be great
yeah,
to have some sort of cap. You don't want to disincentivize people from acquiring wealth
yeah, that's
because
what
that's
everyone
what
says.
drives people. But if obscene amounts of wealth, and we know which people we're referring to here, they are disproportionately higher than everyone else. And I mean dis disproportionately. If there was some ratio that you could sort of keep the lowest in line with the highest, so to speak, that may even things out. But in the case of a lot of the billionaires, and we have to sort of point the finger that there are several, well, more than several, I've got figures later, but how many there are, they tend to be in the States and they are disproportionately wealthy compared to everybody else. And it does cause this problem in society because these people are so removed from what normal people, how they normally live, that and they have so much influence as well. That's the key that they set the agenda for the masses, which is not right because the masses are the ones that run the country in well, keep it ticking over anyway. And yeah, there needs to be more rein it in, maybe not spread the love because that doesn't really work, but certainly rein in some of these obscene amounts that give these people so much power and influence that yeah, they it's obscene. It's just not right. So I'm with you, but how it can be implemented is the issue here.
Well, that is the elephant. It's not even the elephant in the room. There's another metaphor that is far more fitting, but I can't think of it just now. No, that is the nub of the problem, the nipple of the breast, so to speak, the head of the nail, etc., whatever. Okay, so so that's the problem. What are you going to do about it? First of all, some people would argue it's not even a problem. They say, look, if you're rich, you're rich. It's because it's a capitalist system. You've worked hard and you've done the one thing that true wealth should come from, which is you have been incredibly creative and you've thought of something that nobody else has thought of. You've invented something that didn't exist before you. So think Bill Gates and Windows and things like that. Although, funnily enough, a graphical user interface wasn't Microsoft.
No, no, not
It
at all.
wasn't his invention. It was an IBM invention actually, an early invention. But he simplified it and made it more accessible or something. Good old Windows 3.1. You had to be as old as me to remember stuff like that.
I
To go to
remember Windows 3.0.
Yeah, well, 3.0, but 3.1 was a nice one.
Was
It
a
was
nice
the
one. It actually started to get traction, didn't it?
yeah, yeah.
But the
I kind of miss 3.1. It's ridiculous.
I think that's starry-eyed nostalgia there. That
Probably, possibly,
yeah.
but I know I miss it. I miss Windows 2000 Professional, which in my opinion was the best Windows ever. We should just have stopped with that. Windows 7 was okay. Windows 11, I'm not migrating to. I'm migrating to Linux, Mint. But anyway, so back on track.
Yeah.
back,
The
back
thing
on
is,
track.
though, the
What are we
thing is,
going to
it's not.
do about it?
You said that. Oh, it should be limited to those whom take take something and invent something new.
No, not limited. No, I'm saying that there are people who argue that if you're rich in the capitalist system, it's because you deserve it. That's the argument.
Well, it's also taking an idea and improving on it. So you may not have
Mm.
been the inventor of the idea, but you've packaged it in such a way and made it better. I mean, for instance, none of the coffee companies, for instance, can lay claim to inventing coffee. But
Mm.
what they've done is they've taken coffee and packaged it in such a way and made it a commodity for most people and gone worldwide with it. And so, the big branded coffee houses now are earning a lot of money for something that's actually been around for years, but they've just packaged it in a way that makes it better. So, would you argue in the same manner towards those companies and say, well, they shouldn't be wealthy because they didn't invent it. They just capitalized on market and just made it.
No, I'm not arguing anything at all because it's not my argument. I was reporting what other people are saying,
Oh,
not
okay.
me. I'm not
Okay.
saying that. Now, I am taking something. I mean, at the back of my mind in all this is what I heard about a Scandinavian country. Don't know which one, but in that Scandinavian country, it might be Sweden. I'm not
It
absolutely
was
certain.
Sweden. Yes, I know which
Sweden,
one you mean.
you're not allowed to earn 20 times more than the CEO can't earn 20 times more than the least paid person in the company.
That's right, but that's in companies.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, no, I'm just saying. So my
Yeah.
idea began with that.
Oh, I see.
That well, that's not a bad strategy because it's objective and we know what it's all about. So what is the objective definition? Because I like objectivity. If it's not going to be objective, it's a waste of time. We need an objective standard by which we say, well, when you've reached this standard, you are too rich. And I've been wrestling with this since I first proposed this topic, and I can't find it to an objective
No, no.
standard.
A lot of people
Everything's
have tried.
subjective.
Yeah.
Huh?
A lot of people have tried as well. They thought, well, what's the cap? How
Mm.
can we even think of a cap? How does it get revised? How do we, do we have a separate body that decides it? And what should it be? Should it be 1 million? Should it be 10 million? Should it be 100 million? No one can seem to work out what this cap, if there is such a cap, needs to be.
Mm.
I mean, talking about Sweden, you mentioned their system that tends to be only in companies rather than
It's a
countrywide.
start. It's a start.
Switzerland, though, tried it in
Mm.
2013 with a 1 to 12 initiative, and they they wanted it to be across all companies, not those that chose to implement it. And the lowest paid employee in the same company, the CEO, the top earner, couldn't earn more than 12 times their salary. However, it was defeated in a national referendum because in Switzerland, the way it works, they have quite an interesting democracy where if only 100,000 people put their name against the question, then Parliament have to raise a referendum about it. It's not debate it. They have to actually ask the population
Good
for
idea.
the
I
answer.
love that.
It is good. That is true democracy but you have referendum literally every other month
What's the
because
population of Sweden?
this is
I
not
can find
Sweden,
out.
Switzerland,
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
What's the population? You know? I can find out. Don't worry
It's
about
not
that.
great. You're talking,
No, I'll find out. It's only a guess.
yeah, it's not high. 9 million, maybe. It's not even that high. I could be wrong. I'm just picking a figure here. That
Sorry, of
Switzerland, not Sweden.
Switz,
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Population of
Why is it called
Switzerland.
Switz? What's a Switz? Anyway,
Switzerland.
population 9 million inhabitants. Well done. You said nine,
Okay.
didn't you?
Yeah, 9.
9 million. Why don't we just invade? Duh.
They don't even have an army, even though they have
Everybody's
Swiss Army.
everyone's a soldier. Is a soldier.
Everyone is a
All the adults.
soldier, but they don't have an actual army.
Mm.
But all 9 million um, have to be conscripted in some way in the army. If
So
the
if 100,000 people vote in a 9 million population, and if we're 64 million, so there's a 63 which goes into nine somehow, doesn't it? That's
9 goes into 63 seven
yeah,
times, yeah.
7 times. So
So you'd need
700,000.
700,000 people. It
That's
should be a
fair.
referendum.
So if we
I
can get
agree.
a signature with 700,000 people, yeah, it forces a referendum. Why
Yeah,
not?
I agree. I think that's a really good way of running the country.
Hmm.
Although, and well, the strange thing as well in their parliament, they don't have first past the post in Switzerland either. What they do is if you get voted in parliament, you are an MP and you have to get your approval in the rest of the MPs in order to enact laws. So there's a lot of negotiating to
Horse
get any new
trading.
laws. Yeah, because everybody has to agree. And it's really quite interesting how they work. It takes them a while to get laws through, but when they do, there's a consensus. Everybody has had some agreement of the MPs in Parliament. So those MPs are truly representing their constituents' views because they get to make the laws. Whereas in our democracy, our Parliament, it's only the executive who enact the laws. The MPs do vote on it, but the biggest party tends to win all the time, and the smaller parties have no representation
Hmm.
once the main party is in power.
I don't think the system works. And I'll tell you why.
What, ours or theirs?
There's a few years ago, I flew into Sweden for an interview. I was going to work
Sweden or
for
Switzerland?
Switzerland. So
Switzerland.
I flew into Switzerland, Zurich, for an interview with a bank. I was going to get a nice banking job, earn a lot of money and everything. And I landed early, went to the business class lounge. Yes, I do fly business lounge. Went to the business class lounge, and it was a crappy lounge. I mean, the food on offer was terrible. The
Oh
seats
wow,
were uncomfortable, and I thought, well, this is kind
for a
of rubbish.
lounge. Goodness
Yeah,
me.
yeah. I thought this is kind of business class. This is kind of rubbish. Then I got a cab to the bank, and then the cab driver said, "Would you like me to put your holder, just a little holder, because the seats?" He said, "Because the seats, we'll put it in the boot." I thought, okay, put it in the boot. We got there, and so how much? So I looked at the thing, and it was like this. They said, "Oh yeah, and don't forget the holder in the boot." I said, "Well, what's that got to do with it?" He said, "You have to pay." I was like, "What do you mean I have to pay?"
What?
So yeah, apparently, if you put something in the boot, you got to pay.
Extra.
You got to pay extra.
Oh wow.
So I'm like, "Yeah, but what the hell? You were telling me the seats and what?" You said, "Ah, yeah, but you could have said no." I said, "What?" So
Oh, that's someone. That's just someone opportunist.
that,
I'm
that,
sure they've made that up. They
no,
saw you coming.
I asked, I said, "Do you pay for stuff that you put in the boot?" And they're like, "Yeah."
What?
Ah, well,
Who does that?
the people who've all sat together and made an agreement, apparently. You see what I mean by because someone there just said like no, but they all so I don't know.
You're
I
amazed by
wasn't
that
offered
one.
the job, but I wasn't going to take it. I wasn't going to take it anyway, man. So
Oh dear. I think the you would have been, duly compensated to cover any.
no, 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 it didn't matter. At that point, I was
Oh,
just like, yeah, no, no, thanks.
you didn't like
And then
it.
I heard you can't flush your toilet after 10 p.m. and stuff like this. If you live
What?
in if you live in an apartment building,
Yeah.
don't flush your toilets after 10 p.m.
Why?
because it makes noise. It can disturb people next door.
But you need to go.
Yeah, so you flush in the morning.
Oh no, no, no.
You
That's
flush
not
in the morning.
right.
So anyway, like, yeah, no.
I mean, some of those rules are a little bit. Oh, anyway. Okay, let's get back onto this. The cap. I mean, let's look at the possible ways of doing this. Oh, by the way, do you know there's a term for people that suggest limiting what people earn in a high capacity fashion?
Well, assholes.
No,
Okay.
L- it's the term is limitarianism.
Ah, limitarianism.
Mm. So it's
So I'm
basically
a
a
I'm a
cap.
limitarianist.
Yeah, a limitarianist practicing the idea of limitarianism, and it's putting a
Not
hard
practicing.
defined cap on somebody's wealth.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to be a limitarianist,
Yeah.
but since I can't figure out what objective standard to apply, then I can't make the proposal because when asked what should we limit it to, the answer is I don't know.
Hmm. You see, they actually did some surveys at different countries to ask what should a cap be if one was implemented. And you're right, the general population didn't have a clue.
Hmm.
So they put some stupid figures in, and a big number, well, a number of people actually seem to say at £2 million because
Two.
it was asked. Yeah, two
That's not a
million.
lot.
I know it's not,
You
but
can't buy. You
that's
can't even
what.
buy a yacht with that kind of not a proper yacht.
No, indeed. So to me, that was pretty
No, that's too low.
nonsensical. That was actually in the UK, by the way, that
Mm.
one was done. And there's been some suggestions on it being 10 million or possibly 100 million. But even 100 million, and this is dollars, by
I
the
was
way.
thinking in terms of $1 or $2 billion
I
or
was
pounds.
thinking that. I was thinking that because, and strangely, they did actually ask some boffins at the University of Michigan to have a look and see what
Mm.
they thought it would do, and they
I put
proposed
my
a
cap
cap
on it
of
now.
$1 billion. So a
Sorry.
billion is what you're arguing, and they seem to say the same. It said that they worked out that if it was at a billion, that redistribution of wealth could lift the bottom third of the US households out of poverty. Although, although that money that would be redistributed from all the billionaires would still only fund, say, the US for a year. It's not like it's indefinite. It's not like a change forever.
Mm.
Because I've got a list here of the countries with the most billionaires. And if I read out, I'll actually just have a little bit of a guess. Let's do this. I've got the numbers in front of me. This is from 2025, so it's fairly recent, of the number of billionaires. Now, do you want me to say the country and then you have a go at the number? Or do you want me to do it? Yeah, let me give you the rank first. Yeah, do that way. And then you can tell me how many billionaires roughly are in each country. So tops the
Well,
list.
I'd rather you did it somewhere else, another way. I'd rather you gave me the numbers and I tried to rank the countries and assign them.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Give me the top three number or five
Top
numbers.
three. Top
Hmm.
three.
Hmm.
902 billionaires.
What? One country
902.
has 902
One
billionaires.
country has 902 billionaires.
What the hell?
Next country has 516
You're
billionaires.
kidding.
Nope. The third country has 205 billionaires.
Yikes.
The fourth, 171 billionaires.
Hmm.
And the fifth, 140 billionaires. Now, those top five countries are all in triple digits for the
Yeah.
number of
And I
billionaires.
thought this, I'm glad I said this because if you'd gone with the countries, my top number was 16.
16?
1 6. I
No.
thought America had like 16. China had like 5 or something. That was the way my mind was working. I mean, 900. Well, okay, so the most unequal society, in my opinion, is the United States.
Yep, they're
So they
number
would have
one
100 and they'd have
with
100 and,
902 billionaires in the United States. That
the,
is incredible.
the next most unequal country I would have thought, I might be wrong, is India.
No,
Okay, if it's not India, then it'll be China because they're just the richer,
it is
the next richer.
China. 516 billionaires in China. So pretty
Kind of
much
weird.
half the Americans, but still substantial.
Yeah, kind of weird for a so-called communist country.
Indeed.
Huh?
Indeed.
Well, anyway.
The third,
205, is it?
yeah,
205.
billionaires.
This is gonna be India or Japan. And I'm
It's
gonna go
certainly,
with
go on,
yeah,
it's
I'm
it's
gonna go
India.
with India.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is India. So 205 billion in, sorry, 205 billionaires in India.
Billionaires in
The
India.
fourth country, which had 171 billionaires, is
With Japan.
no,
Oh, okay. If it's not Japan, it'll be Germany.
it is Germany.
It'll be Germany.
171 billionaires in Germany.
Wow.
And the fifth, with 140 billionaires?
Japan or somewhere in the Middle East.
Nope.
If it's not Japan, not somewhere in the Middle East. 140.
Yep.
All right. Well, I don't know, but give me a guess. Okay, wait. I'll have to go with 140 billion. Well, it's the Middle East, not in the, I don't know. Russia, maybe?
It is Russia. Well
Okay.
done.
Okay.
140 billionaires in Russia.
I didn't
Now,
think there
the
were more than
next
five or
one,
six.
yeah, incredible. The sixth is, the 76 billionaires is,
This,
strangely,
well, United Kingdom.
no, not even close. 76 is Canada.
Canada. Yeah, they're quietly rich
76.
and their money is serious.
Mm.
Their
The,
currency is quite strong.
the seventh country on this list with 74 billionaires, just below Canada,
And I assume that's France.
no, is Italy.
Italy is quite rich.
Yeah, Italy. The next one's a surprising one to me. Eighth country with billionaires. They have 66 billionaires, and it's the smallest country out the group.
Well, Brunei? Who's got
No,
66?
Hong Kong.
Is Hong Kong a country though?
Yes, it is. It's a part of China, but it's still supposed to be a separate country in
Autonomous,
itself.
is it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
66 billionaires in Hong Kong. It's such a small area
I
to
was going to
think
say that
about it.
probably the
Yeah.
densest number of
Yeah.
billionaires per square mile or
Yeah,
whatever.
absolutely. Absolutely it is. And number nine, with
Uh,
56 billionaires, is Brazil. And
Brazil.
Brazil, yes. And finally, the top 10, the 10th country with 55 billionaires is the United Kingdom. Now,
Wow.
you
I didn't even
said
know we had.
you said China and France. They're not even in the top 10.
Who's number two?
Number two is China.
That's what I said. So you just said no,
Oh
China and
no,
France.
sorry, France and Japan. My apologies.
Japan. Okay, there we go.
Japan. They're not even in the top 10.
Wow.
France is the 12th ranked country with
Mhm.
52 billionaires. Japan is a lowly 16th with
Doesn't that mean
42.
that wealth equality is better in those countries?
It is. It is
Mm.
indeed. But they're
So we should be
still,
asking how they're doing it then.
well, maybe the billionaires are not keen to be there for whatever reason, which is really interesting.
Mm.
And the total number of countries in the world that actually have billionaires on their shores are 78 of them. So there's 78 countries
Mm.
that have a billionaire in
Nigeria's got to
their
be one. We've got a couple.
Well, if you think about it, there's 195 countries. That does
Mm.
mean 117 nations do not have a billionaire
No,
in their
we've got a couple
population
of
at all.
billionaires. Dangote
Yeah,
is
yeah,
a billionaire. I don't know. See, the thing is, could it be a dollar bill billionaire? That's the problem. The
possibly.
filthy and the Shaguri brothers. I think they claim to be Nigerian, the Lebanese origin, but I think they're Nigerians as well. So dual
Yeah.
citizenship kind of thing. I think they're pretty sure they're billionaires. Anyway, I don't really know, so I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
amazing. So
this data came from
902
Forbes, so it's
is mind-boggling.
but if
Mind-boggling.
it's not like they've only got a billion each, is it? A lot of them have got
I actually thought the top number of billionaires in any one country was like 16. That's what I thought. So
incredible,
to
isn't
hear
it?
when he said 902, I was like, I can't believe it.
Yes. And some of them, I mean, are in the ridiculous billion, multi billionaires. It is staggering when you realize, I mean, this is more so when you realize the wealth disparity between the super rich and the poor. And this is why I suppose the question has to be asked is because they are so few in number disproportionately to the size of the populations, but they have a disproportionately high consensus and that they can control things far more than they should, that the wealth brings them. So they're not just wealthy in the companies that they've become wealthy in,
Mm.
it buys them influence, it buys them far more things than your normal Joe Public. It gives them, you could have someone who's a multimillionaire, but they don't have the influence that a billionaire would have.
Mm.
They don't have access to government and political figures because they are billionaires. They seem to have that, whereas people who are not don't. So it does beg the question that these people are in the elite and control society because of their wealth, rather
Yeah,
than what they've contributed to society as a whole.
yeah. So I'm thinking rather than try to put a cap on the amount a rich person can have, I've just come up with this idea, so I'm actually thinking it through as I'm speaking. Rather than have a cap on the amount that a person can hold, we can have a cap on the way that you hold it. For example, Elon Musk, not to get on his bottom because, but it's just he happens to be on everyone's lips right now because he's such a public figure and he's doing such obviously political things. And I think he's got something like 400 plus billion in the bank, or no, not in the bank, but you see, this is the point. He's got 400 billion, but it's in shares. And as long as it doesn't convert those shares, they're not taxable,
Exactly, their
right?
assets
So the
and
assets,
investments. Yeah.
right. So I'm thinking that he didn't build the company personally. He wasn't the one who was up the engineer. He wasn't all engineers. He wasn't all designers. He wasn't all everything. He paid even one call it top dollar to these people, but at the same time, he still wasn't those people. So if you control the way that the shares are distributed, he would have more than the others. But if you did this 20 times the amount of the person in the company with the lowest number of shares, do you see how his shares would be curtailed? And then he couldn't possibly have $420 billion worth of shares. And everybody in that company would be stinking rich. And that would flow out into greater society because more people would be spending more money.
Well, this is the philosophy that's
Well,
been
that's
run on
just
it
an
anyway,
idea,
isn't it?
Sorry,
The
what?
the idea of the trickle down economics, that's always been something
Yeah,
that
it doesn't trickle down though.
no, that's the problem. That Republicans have always said that. Well, you give the tax breaks to the wealthy, they'll invest it in society and they'll create more
No, they
jobs. It
won't.
trickles
They
down.
never do.
It doesn't. It
You
never
don't want them
does.
to invest it. You want them to spend. And
Well,
you're not going to spend it because you've tied it up in assets.
no, but they want to is invest it in companies and create jobs and create industry.
You will do
That's what it
that if you're
means.
spending money. So if you distribute the wealth into the company, into the people who are working there and all that sort of thing, then they will go out because everybody will get end up with a Ferrari. And then the Ferrari people will end up with money. And then the Ferrari people will end up with Rolex watches. And the Rolex watch people will end up with, and it'll just keep on like that. That's what I'm trying to say. So it will spread out like that. But having it all in one man's hands to fund his political ambitions, that's not going to ever spread.
No, no. You're right. But then there are people, see, going back to this cap, when we say wealth, there's some people who are asset rich but cash poor.
Mm.
What happens there? Where they've maybe living in a house which has value has increased over the years. They've happened to be living there for 30, 40 years per se. But they're pensioners, normal pensioners. But
Mm.
the house has, for whatever reason, increased in value because, I don't know, they've opened up an airport not far or it adds value to the area. And they're in a really, high asset home effectively, but they've got no money. The only way they can realize that money is by selling the property. And
Mm.
then they still have to pay capital gains
Which is
tax.
wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. That is awful. But you don't know. Oh, actually, another one, as we're touching on that, the what's the one where you inheritance tax?
That's disgusting. Well,
Oh, well, no, hold on. It is because you have to pay the tax before you can get the investment. You know, don't you?
you have to pay the tax before you get
You
it.
have to get the tax. You have to pay the tax before you
I'm not
inherit it.
supposed that be
Yes.
too difficult. We just have to borrow money because the bank will know it's coming. I mean, you can prove what's coming.
Yeah.
So they will lend you the money, but
It,
the money goes to them. They take their cut, and then they give you the
yeah,
split.
but you don't have the money. There's some people who cannot pay the tax. They can't even get the loan to get the tax because you have to pay the
They
tax up
can't get
front.
the. They can't get the. Oh, get in touch with Ty. I'll sort something out. What are you talking about? You're sitting on a freaking gold mine, man.
No. Because let's say for example, yeah, okay, we've digressed ever so slightly, but interesting nonetheless. Let's say, for instance, you're set to inherit a £10 million property.
Mm-hmm.
10 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before you can get that £10 million property, you have to pay the inheritance tax on it, which is
Mm-hmm.
40%. So you have to pay
Stump up 4 miller.
400,000,
No,
4
4
million,
miller.
yeah,
4
4
miller.
million first to the tax man before you can get the £10 million house. Now,
And then you're gonna have to flog it.
then you have to flog it. What if you don't flog it? You're paying a £4 million tax bill without the asset. So
That's useless. That's
I,
actually stupid.
but that's the law.
So what's happening? So what happens then? Then
You
the
can't
state is
inherit
just
it. You can't inherit it, or
so what
you're in trouble because you are now got a tax bill that you have to pay
so what
up
happens is
front.
what I'm asking. What happens?
People eventually have to get the after the paperwork because the lawyers have to be paid, sorting it all out and all the rest of it. So you don't get the full asset because you've got all this debt you've accrued, and then it causes headaches. Let's put it that way, and it can last months and months. The HMRC will even loan you the money at 8% interest.
And what?
At 8%
Oh, come
interest,
on.
yeah, so that you can then pay them the tax with a loan,
8% interest.
8% interest. Then you'd have to sell the house and then pay them back and the
That's
8% on
that's
top.
that's a con, man.
Eight percent on the tax on
That's a
the
con.
amount they've loaned you.
But basically, you're paying tax. You're paying interest on the tax,
Yeah,
which
you
is
are.
an astonishing concept.
It is, but that's exactly how it works.
This is why apparently so many millionaires are just legging it and leaving the country because it's just ridiculous.
Well, those things are just mad. But anyway,
Anyway,
sorry,
I've
we
got a
digress
solution.
slightly.
I've
Oh,
got a
go on.
solution. One of my solutions. Now, you know that my very best solutions all involve cutting people's heads off, right? And
Metaphorically, not literally.
uh, well,
Metaphorically, not
this particular
literally.
one, you have to make up your mind what I mean. So, do you remember about the referenda?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how about we have a referendum every so often? Okay.
Okay.
And in this referendum, we choose yes or no. Do we chop off the heads of the wealthiest people? Let's say the top 100 wealthiest people in the country. We actually get a hold of them first, even if they try to skip the country. We hold them and we keep them, and we say, well, what have you done with your money that we can look back and go, oh yeah, you're good, you're not good, and it's a yes or no. It's a very simple digital thing. Either as a class of 100 ultra rich, you've looked after us, or we feel hard done by. Now, if we feel hard done by, you get taken to the tower, you have your head cut off, and your children inherit with no inheritance tax and any of that nonsense. But they've seen what happened to their parents, and then we can put the question to them. So, do you want to keep everything in your pocket, or do you want to spread some of this the love around? He said, how do you want to play this? You know, because in another 5 or 6 years, we're going to have another referendum.
I'm not
And I
sure
think
that'll
once
what because the
I
feel is subjective.
all my ideas will work. Just put it into practice. The first time you cut off Richard Branson's head and people like that, anyway, the next time you're going to be really shocked that here's suddenly there's going to be none of this. The rich don't want to pay taxes. Hey, we want to pay taxes. It's okay. Don't worry. Tax us, man. That's fine.
I'm
Okay.
not sure. I'm not sure there'll be many people actually very keen to stay in the country if you're that. That's not a democracy, is it? That's
Well,
an
it's just because it's
authoritarian
a
state.
referendum, isn't it?
Well,
It's a general. So you can spend your money fighting the referendum, can't you? You can spend your money fighting the referendum. If that's what you want to, if you want to take a gamble that way, I suggest you just start up a lot of charities and make sure everybody's pretty blooming happy around yours.
but then
And
how
I
do you
like the idea. Hmm?
how do you you see the thing is it's it's the question is how do you measure the wealth? That's always going to be a problem. How can you
Oh,
put a
just
cap on something?
not a cap. There's no cap now. I'm saying there's no cap. You
So
just
they
have
can
as
earn
much
what they
money,
want,
have
but
as much money as you have as much money as you want to
but
have.
they
But
have to then what? Justify how they've spent that money to make society better.
it's just, yeah. How do we feel? How do you feel
Yeah,
about?
feel is subjective. That's not
Yeah,
on
it's
the other.
fine. It's
Yeah, but
fine because
you could
you've
be the
got this
best
money.
person in the world, and there'll be somebody out there go, "Oh, well, I feel hard done by."
You had better be spending part of that money publicizing all your good works so everybody feels good. Everyone's going to just feel happy, and then all the orphans, you make sure you're photographed on Christmas Day, taking packages around and giving and just spreading the joy. Everyone go, my God, these people are good. Yeah, because
So you're basically justifying your wealth
yes, yes.
with good deeds.
Yeah, what have you done for me lately? That's that's the song, isn't it? And
Yeah.
that's just like, yeah, what have you done for me lately? And if you haven't, you're not gonna like next year when I go to the polls, man. You're not gonna like it at all, you know.
I
And
mean,
I think eventually it will just become, the first couple of times it'll be, ooh, that's a bit rough. After that, it'll just become the done thing. People will know, you've got to play the game. You got to get in there. You've got to be philanthropic. Now there is a country where the rich are actually. What country is that? Where I think the people are quite happy with the rich. Is it not Kuwait? Qatar? Is it? Where they're really, really looked after. I mean, cradle
oh
to grave.
yes, yeah,
Cradle
yeah,
to
yeah,
grave. They're looked
yeah.
after.
But
They
that's
won't.
not the rich doing it. It's the government.
No,
The
no, it's no.
government are
It's
actually choosing to do it, so everyone's happy. Same as in Finland. Finland, the rating, I believe it's Finland, the approval rating of those in power is really high because they're looked after, the healthcare's
mm,
in place, don't pay any healthcare, they don't have school tuition, fees, that's all taken care of. So there's a lot of things that are looked after by the government so that the people, I think they've got a basic minimum wage as well for everybody. So they've got a lot of things in place in order to look after their population. Now, granted, the
Qatar is an
population isn't
emirate.
big.
Is an
Is what?
emirate. It's an emirate. It's ruled by an emir
Oh,
and his
okay.
royal family. And they look after their people, is what I'm trying to say. It's not so much like it's the government kind of thing. It's the
Oh,
emir and the royal family looking after the
well,
citizens.
that's a monarch, isn't it? And
Yeah, it's a
that's
monarchy.
basically running the country.
Monarchy, and I suppose you'd call it a nobility as well. But they make blooming sure that their people are well looked after to the nth degree.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Now, all I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to codify that. Our not monarchy, not the House of Windsor or anything,
Yeah.
but our oligarchy, right,
Yeah.
will face certain what I like to call consequences if they don't if they don't toe the party line and make Tayo happy. I mean, sorry, everybody happy. You know, make everybody happy. There are going to be issues. There are going to be consequences, man. Okay,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
what
It's not such a
about
bad idea when you start thinking about it,
no,
man.
it's not. I mean, none of these
You know,
ideas are that bad in principle. I mean, it's like what's the one about the 40 to 1 ratio? the meridian ratio,
Never heard of it.
is that it's based on the national minimum or median wage. So the top people in society cannot draw an income more than 40 times the minimum wage. Now they can earn assets and things
Ah,
like that beyond that, but drawing a wage. So you haven't got people in, some of these CEOs, for instance, in companies that are paid a stupid amount of money. It can't be more than 40 times the lowest wage in society, not in the company, in
mm,
society. So that there is a minimum income that a CEO could earn, for instance. Now, but
mm.
if you're a business owner, then that's slightly different because you're putting your money in your
Your risk.
companies. Yeah, there's a risk there. So that's different. But wage, so that you've now stopped these CEOs getting
Right,
stupid
right.
money,
Yeah.
which is a bit fairer. I
Golden
mean,
parachute, noise nonsense.
yeah, exactly. So you can't get a contract that pays you, 20 million or whatever it can be. So it is limited to this 40-1 ratio, which I
Mm.
think is something that could be implemented. And that is the first step that could limit executive pay. But then
Don't forget.
the other argument is that they will then go and get jobs elsewhere. We won't get the best
Well, we
people
won't
in the
miss them.
position.
Let's be honest. It's nobody's worth that amount of money. Go ahead and go and go. Is a threat that I think is a silly threat. Is if you really feel that, please leave. Don't let the door slam you on your way out. Bang it, whatever the expression is. I
Yeah.
don't mind all that because somebody else will step in and do a good job. There's this woman who got selected as CEO of, I think it's called Cracker Barrel or something in
Cracker
America.
Barrel. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And she came in and she changed the logo or something, and all hell
Yeah.
broke loose, and she almost lost the blooming company or whatever. She's still getting paid bonuses, and I'm
Well,
thinking, for what?
yeah, because
What?
it's slightly different when you're a director or CEO. You have to negotiate a severance agreement.
No, no, no. She's not been kicked out. She's just getting a bonus.
Oh, why is she getting a bonus? Is she still
Well,
there?
yeah, she's still there.
That's not right.
So you get a
That's
bonus
not.
for what?
Yeah, the bonus should be linked to the company. Well, mind you, if even though she changed the logo and everything went wrong, if the company's still profiting,
No, they're not. But I mean,
oh,
now she's put the logo back. But I don't know if people are flooding back. I think they said people are beginning to go back to Cracker
okay,
Barrel.
right.
But she had to put it. She just cost the company like something like 300 million or something. For
Oh,
what?
yeah,
And
she
then
disrupted it.
you still get a bonus.
No, that's
So it's
not
like,
right.
what the
It
heck
should be
is going on?
performance related, shouldn't it? It can't be just for the sake of it. It's performance related bonus. That's the whole point. It's how the company is performing, and it should be a direct relation to, and everyone should get it. If it's a performance related bonus, everyone should get
We
the
all
same.
did well because the company
Yeah,
did better, isn't?
exactly.
Shouldn't everybody get
You'd have thought
a
so.
slice of the pie? But no. So I don't know. I think I like the idea, but it's not doable.
No, I'm the same with you. I think that the idea sounds right, but then again, it will sound right to people like us. We haven't got billions, so everybody who hasn't got that is quite easy to
Spend other
tell.
people's
Yeah,
money.
spend other people's money and tell them how they should spend their money, isn't it? That sounds a bit daft, but it's true. Although, just the gut feel, really, that amount of wealth in just one individual or just a handful of people's in pockets where the money in the right place could be doing far more
Mm.
than in the pockets of just a few. I mean,
Hmm.
how much do you need when you're at those
I've always asked myself that question. Here's the thing. You think you're rich, but it was Chris Rock,
comedian?
the comedian,
Yeah.
who said he thinks that Oprah Winfrey thinks she's rich. I think that's what he said. I think Magic Johnson, Oprah Winfrey, all these people, they think they're rich. But
Hmm.
here's the thing. This is Chris
Yeah.
Rock saying, here's the thing. They're not rich. The person who signs their check is rich.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
indeed,
right. Yeah.
indeed, indeed.
Ooh, the person beside your
But
check
they're
is rich.
still, but they're still working. That's the difference. They're
Well,
working.
Oprah Winfrey at the time was, and now she's on her own. She's got her own company.
Right.
She's a
Well, there you go.
double billionaire or something. So
Yeah. Well, so she's now no longer having to have her check signed
nobody
by.
writes her checks,
No.
man. She writes checks now, that
Yeah,
sort of thing.
exactly. So yeah, that's a an interesting look at it. But we
Or
wove.
the story of the first billionaire, I believe, in
Hmm.
America. At least I think he's the first billionaire. Now, Leonardo DiCaprio acted him in a movie. Do you remember? Do you know who that person is? I can't remember
No.
his name. Well, Leonardo DiCaprio acted as him
Yeah.
in a movie. How do you spell Leonardo anyway? Leo.
Leonardo.
Oh, look, it's coming up. Leonardo acted as this billionaire. I just want to get the name I was going to say customers, but
Okay.
for
Yeah. Yeah.
acted as, come on, acted as, Howard Hughes, of course.
Oh.
Howard
Okay.
Hughes. And I've told this story twice before. So if you've heard this story before, sorry, audience, you're going to hear it one more time. Howard Hughes walked into a hotel in Texas, and there was some guy who was shouting and spouting off and making a lot of noise and just being a nuisance, very loud, and saying, "I have 100 million in the bank. I got 100 million," that sort of thing. And this is
Hmm.
back in the days when 100 million was a lot of money,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That was a joke. Anyway,
Hmm.
so Howard Hughes walks in, and then this guy's going, yeah, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So he goes up to him and he says, "Okay, here's a coin. I'll toss you for it."
Ooh. Ooh.
And the guy piped down because he
Yeah.
realized, yeah, you're not rich. Howard Hughes is rich.
Wow. We.
Isn't that a
I'll
fantastic
toss
way
you
of just
for it.
saying you're not
Yeah.
rich, man?
Wow.
You're just noisy.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Wow.
Let me tell you something that happened, right? During the Great Compression era in
The
America.
great
This was
what?
compression, it was called. Economists called it the Great Compression.
Not the
This was,
depression, which I've heard
no,
of.
compression
Never heard of this
from
one.
1940s to the 70s. Okay.
Ah,
And this was when tax rates were very high and the top marginal rate peaked at 94%.
wow.
And it remained above 90% for nearly 2 decades, and it was still
Wow.
70% in the 70s for the highest earners. In the UK, in that also happened in the UK in the
Oh yeah.
90s.
The
Remember
Beatles
that?
in the 60s.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
had to leave. What was it, 99% or something?
99%. So it was even worse for a
Good
period of time.
Lord.
So that was the state taking it. So people just went offshore. And that's what they did. Um, Although it didn't stop the country progressing because there was fear that, oh my God, if all this wealth is being taken away, the industry will fail, the intelligence would be leaving with the rich people. It didn't happen.
Hmm.
It didn't happen. A lot of rich people left, but the country didn't fall apart. Yes, they lost taxes from these people, but it didn't actually destroy the country in any way. This it actually fostered a period of prosperity for a period. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? So it didn't actually cause a big problem. But so why then are we afraid to go back to that potential idea where you tax the super rich around the
Is it
90%
even
mark?
fair? That's why. I don't think it's fair. I don't, as you rightly pointed out, sadly, I don't have a billion. But if I did, I'd be offended if you wanted to take 99.9% of it in taxes. There's something about taking it in taxes which is just annoying because it is, we know how politicians are wasteful and foolish with other people's
Yes.
money.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that is so painful that I work very hard for my money and you're taking it and you're going to splash it out. And then I'm going to hear about
Exactly.
champagne dinners and things. I'm going to think, yeah, well, that's not exactly why I was paying taxes. And I think there's something to do with that.
I think if
So,
if 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 it could be funneled into a specific place. So for instance, let's say someone's a multi-billionaire and they have to pay 90% it's a tax for hospitals, for instance. So
Mm,
that 90%, above and beyond the 40, that 50% tax that they're taking in addition because you're a high earner, that has to go to a particular fund,
hmm.
which is there for hospitals, for instance,
Yeah.
or for
Potholes on
children's
the A
development.
roads and things like this.
Yeah, yeah. It's something that's actually specific, that's bound by law, that says any really top earners have to pay this extra tax, but this it goes in this pot for these services, and it can't be taken by politicians to spend elsewhere. It
Mm.
must be for these particular services. I don't know what it could be.
I've got an idea actually that I think will satisfy everyone.
Go
One
on.
of two things, either a sovereign wealth fund,
Okay.
stick into a sovereign wealth fund, or stick into pensions that you can't play with
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to
Yeah.
fund pensions.
Yeah.
And I think I have a feeling even the rich would be kind of okay with that. We just don't want it going to the layabouts in government, the people who got their snouts in the trough.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what tax. I think a lot of people are just irked by the caliber of politicians we have, and we know that the money is going into their pockets and the pockets of their friends, and we're like, no, that's not okay. That's what I feel.
Hmm.
I feel
Okay.
if we know that it's going to a good place, like I said, the sovereign wealth fund
Yeah.
or pension scheme, then fine. Well,
Yeah.
fine-ish. I mean, I'm not happy,
Bit
but
better, but
yeah.
yeah. I think for votes it would work if a politician wanted to do this, but it couldn't ever be enacted, in my opinion. There was um there was a senator in the 1930s in America called Long, Senator Long,
Mm,
and he proposed a national maximum of $50 million. This is in the 30s, which
mm.
in today's money is a billion.
Is it what?
Okay, $1 billion. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, and he said that that means anyone that earned more than that um, would would have to pay and include that the income goes to every family in the US.
Mm.
So it's spread in a fund directly to income every family. So whatever that, let's say someone had a 10 billion, they were only allowed to have a billion, keep a billion. 9 billion had to go in a pot, and it was supposed to be distributed to every family.
It won't
Every,
work. I thought of it, and the reason it wouldn't work is because you're incentivizing the rich to spread that 9 billion before you come for it. So their kids will get money, their friends, family, and they will start a clique of very powerful people who will work in tandem with that money. I mean, the person giving it. So if I have this, I said to you, look, Tony, man, would you like a billion? I suspect you say yes. I'm
yeah,
I'm just guessing,
yeah,
but you,
yeah. Of course I would.
yeah. And I said, well, you know what we're going to do with this? We're going to do this, this, and that. How do you feel about that? And I might not give you the billion all at once. I might give you a little bit, see how you react, see if you're going to work with me truthfully. But eventually, we're going to have a cartel.
Yes.
This is not a good idea. You just got to take it away from. I don't even think you got to take it away. It's a very difficult. It's a knotty issue. Knotty. It's a knotty issue, and I don't know. No one has solved it. That's why it hasn't been
No,
solved.
it hasn't been solved. It's because it can't be enacted. It just can't because so even though in principle it sounds great, yeah, they shouldn't be so wealthy. Yeah, they should be you know, they should be taxed until the pips squeak or whatever it is and
Mm,
give the money away. It just won't work. It just won't because of all the factors we've already mentioned. How do you measure the wealth? How do you, because a lot of the billionaires don't have cash in their accounts. It's not how it works.
mm.
They might have a few
Assets, I
million
suppose. You'd have to count all
assets,
the
yeah, but
assets,
you
yeah.
can't seize assets.
And then it's just, are they called fungible? Is that what it's called? That's easily disposed of, fungible assets?
Yeah, they can release them quite quickly. They know they've got, I don't know, hundreds of properties that they can sell within a really,
Yeah.
needed and can be sold in a short period of time. But yeah, it's just not viable. I mean,
All in all, it's
okay,
not viable.
no, I mean, okay, we're getting to the top of the hour here, so we're going to have to sum up. So Your question was, should modern societies cap personal wealth? What's your view?
If they can figure out how to do it, it's probably a good idea. If they can come up with an objective standard of what wealth is, what that cap has to be, and the money that they get from capping people's wealth is guaranteed to be spent sensibly and not by politicians, not by useless politicians. So all in all, it's not possible. Ergo, no, there shouldn't be any cap.
I'm with you. In principle, it sounds great, but like you, the same conclusion. It's just not going to happen. It's an unworkable suggestion. Great in principle, but in practice, never ever going to be implemented. So they shouldn't even waste time trying. They should maybe
Unless,
incentivize billionaires to willingly pump money into certain projects
well,
as opposed to give money away. It just won't happen.
that's what tires referendum. It
Would suggest.
seriously incentivizes the rich, really, really serious incentives to get out there and spend, baby, spend.
Indeed, indeed. Okay. We've got to the end of the show now. So, if you've loved this episode, please hit subscribe and stay tuned for more deep dives into prophecies, mysteries, and the unexplained twists of fate. You've listened to Tony and Tayo, and we are the TNT Talk Show. But unfortunately, we have reached the end of the show for another week.